And welcome to our Fine Arts Portrait session with nPhoto ambassadors Sujata and Roberta. They've got plenty of interesting things to get through, so let's jump straight into it. Bear in mind that you can ask questions by posting them in the chat, and we will pass them over to the ambassadors for you. So let's start with you, Sujata. Could you discuss your creative journey and how you achieved your unique style?
Hi, Niall. Hi, Roberta. So I am Indian and I moved to the UK 10 years ago after getting married, and I was never a photographer. It just literally was something that fell into my lap when my daughter was born here and she was around 7 months old, and I just wanted to take photographs of her. And I picked up the camera at that time and I started taking pictures of her. And literally, that's where my journey started. I love absolutely looking for stories in everybody's lives, in my own life and my daughter's childhood, and then somehow transcribe them into a visual narrative in form of my images. And I believe that's what I've started to be known for now as a visual storyteller. So yeah, it's been 6 years now, and it's beautiful.
Excellent. There's some great images going through there. And Roberta, could you basically give us the same description again, your kind of unique style and what your creative journey was?
Yes, so my name is Roberta. I'm kids and family photographer, and I'm originally from Lithuania, but I live in UK for 15 years. And my journey started same as Sujata's one. When my first daughter Amelia was born, I just realized I don't know how to take pictures. So I started to learn, and that's why you can see in my photographers that I photograph mostly kids. So that's my passion. Sorry, I didn't.
Well, no, that's a fantastic way of getting into it, isn't it? Basically having your own subjects and being so inspired to shoot them. I'd imagine that lots of people find that extremely inspirational, but obviously then you have to develop a style and become quite good at it. So how would you say, I mean, there are so many images out there. How do you actually carve out your own niche? Sujata, could you answer that one first, please?
Jake, what I have realized over time as a photographer is to make sure that not only do we take time out for our clients, but also spend ample amount of time uh, producing our own creative projects. It is so important to do something that is just for yourself every single month, and that is the only way for you to find your style. I mean, when I'm doing my client work, I have to provide them exactly what my client wants because they are paying me the money. So at that time, I'm not the creative director of that shoot. I'm just the provider. But where do I find my satisfaction for? Because photography is not only my business, it is also my passion. And for that, I write down exactly what is the kind of visual narrative that I want to create and what are the models that I want to use for it, what light, what styling, what setting. I write all of that down and then I make sure I take time out every single month to do those shoots that are just coming from somewhere within me for myself. And that's how you carve your own niche. That's how you create your own style. And I don't know. I would let Roberta add her pearls of wisdom to it as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very important because when you take a picture, you have to have a vision. You have to have an idea, where to start. You not just go and shoot, And when I started, I was trying everything, like maternity, wedding, every type of photography, but newborns as well, like Sujata. But I wasn't happy, So then slowly I just realized that what makes me happy, and I just realized that taking pictures of my kids, of my client kids, of families, that makes me happy. And then I started to work in studio, and then I just realized it's not where I'm happy as well. So when I started to take outdoors, and I'm doing that for the last 7 years, and I'm not bored. With every session, I'm just so excited, like very, very happy. And I think it's very, very important to do what what makes you happy.
What was it about studio work? Sorry, I was just going to ask.
Did I end up calling you Jake?
Oh, don't worry, no problem at all. I forget my own name.
I wanted to call him Jake because I thought him.
Roberta, I was just going to ask you, what was it about studio work that kind of you didn't find too fulfilling?
I don't know, I'm just kind of, I like nature. Like, I just feel alive there when I go, I'm seeing everything where I can take picture, we just, in like our evening walks with the kids, straight away I'm just walking, but I'm just, creating ideas at the same time, like I could take a picture there, I could take picture there. But when I was working in a studio, I didn't feel that. It's just completely different. I know many studio photographers who just like really happy. I could see how Sujata styling her newborns, all these props she's using. It's just, I don't see the way they see, but I do see outdoors. So I think, just like you have to choose what makes you happy.
How do you feel about that, Sujata? Do you broadly agree?
I do agree, and I'm honestly a more outdoorsy person as well, and I think it comes from us for us because also we are based here in UK, and it's really easy for us to appreciate the outdoors here. It really comes from what your surroundings are, right? I mean, if you feel like you are not really in the right surrounding and you cannot really appreciate the outdoors for certain reasons, which is why I think studio work also becomes more. I don't know, more exciting. That's my guess. But even I totally do agree with Roberta. I am a more outdoor person as well. Even my newborns, I prefer to do them in a more natural, outdoorsy style. So yeah.
Even with our amazing weather in the UK.
It's just beautiful all the time. Nevertheless, I mean, all seasons. First of all, we are very lucky enough to see all the 4 seasons. There are so many countries. Like back in India, we only get summers, and there's no distinction between summers and.
That you did the first time in the snow images, yes, this year.
Yes.
And it was amazing.
Yes.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. Yeah. So we are quite fortunate here in the UK.
Definitely, as you say, there are obviously we get to see the 4 seasons. Do you have a particular favorite, Roberta, for shooting?
To be honest, no. I asked myself this question actually, but I love all of them. You know, I like spring for blossoms. I like summer for flowers. I like autumn for that rich, colorful colors. And winter is completely different. The colors you can get during the winter season, you cannot repeat. It's just amazing. You know, all this gray frost colors in my style of the image is just really looks amazing. You know, I love all the seasons. I'm not waiting like spring for especially like a blossoms. I'm not waiting autumn for leaves, but I'm just really happy with every season.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How about you, Sujata? Same kind of thing? Do you have a favorite, or do you just basically enjoy them all?
Nile, it is actually very interesting how, whenever Roberta and I have several times done shoots together, we go ahead to one location and come up with creative concepts for both of us in the same location and do it together. And it is incredible how differently both Roberta and I approach the exact same location and the exact same set of models. So when we are going out, Roberta is looking at the beautiful plants and, the flowers and the colors of the leaves, and I am looking at the animals and the countryside and how the trees are letting the sunlight filter through. So for me, trees and branches are just an addition in my image to create that sort of a flood of light, or create a sort of a framing around my image with the branches. Whereas for Roberta, it adds to that incredible magical beauty in her images, So we look at outdoors very differently, even when it's the same location. And hence, for me, all the seasons work equally well because I am only looking at the animals at that time.
Yeah, very good. How often do you go out and shoot together? I mean, is this frequent or?
Now we
Wrong time to
forget
ask, Niall. In
It
COVID,
used to
we
be
haven't done it for an entire year now.
But before
Yeah.
that, for example.
every 3 months,
Yeah,
every
Really?
at
4
least.
months.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
we helping each other during mentoring session, just creating like Sujata calls me, she says, oh, I found a nice farm, let's go and shoot together. So I will use animals, you can do portraits, and yeah, it's just always good to work together because we can learn as well from each other, as Sujata mentioned, where we look at the backgrounds, where we will look at the light, Sujata like uses that backlight amazingly. It's just every time we do a session together, it's just like every time I learn something new, and I encourage like all the new photographers or even not new photographers to start and cooperate with other photographers and do something, do a creative project, just it really motivates you. It really motivates you to when you look at your images, it really motivates you to move forward. It's just amazing idea. Don't look at other photographer as your as like competition,
Competitor.
Competitor. It's just as a project. I always did when I started, but now Sujata lives not far from me, so it's very easy for us to work together more often.
Excellent. And how have you both found the last year? Has that been an opportunity, with obviously less shooting, to look at other areas of your photographic activity, or how's that been for you, Sujata?
For me, it has been, I'd say it's been a bit of both. In the beginning, it was fun, and I got to spend time with my family and just totally get a break from work, which I haven't at all got in past 6 years. That break then helped me, of course, to settle down and start strategizing things for my business. Something that again I haven't done forever. When you're running a business, you just let the flow carry you along with it. And this was the time when we really got the chance to sit back and see how we can take it to the next level. So I've brought, like, I used to travel internationally all the time for running workshops, and I'm realizing now there's no end to it. You don't know when are we going to start traveling. So I have put up all my training online, and I know Roberta has also done that as well. Also, I have started to think of newer expansion techniques for my business. I mean, photography, or for you as a photographer, your business is not only about taking clients. There's so much more you can do. And with the expansion of the social media space, like Clubhouse coming in and all these other TikTok coming in, There's so much you can do with your business, and it's quite incredible that COVID gave us that time to actually sit back and think about all of that. So it's been a good learning curve for me.
Excellent.
And for me,
Would you?
sorry.
Yeah, no, carry on. Would you? How's it been for you, Roberta?
I will get some rest, from the camera. But to be honest, every time I walk and I see something, I straight away want to photograph. So I just used my daughters, So I took so many pictures this year, updated my albums. We did even family session, just taking pictures of ourselves. My husband took a picture of me with the girls. I took a picture with my husband and the girls. So like I used that year, just to update our family pictures.
Excellent.
And obviously marketing thing, what Sujata talk, it's always new things coming up. It's like, it's never time, for rest, even if we're not traveling, but we still have plenty to do.
Excellent. You mentioned TikTok there, Sujata. What kind of things do you think can basically benefit your business on that platform?
You know what? I'm just, and I'll be honest. I'm just a TikTok virgin as of now. I'm literally just starting to understand the insides and outsides of that social media platform. But I do know it's incredible, especially for us as photographers who are working with children. And for me, for example, I'm working with animals. It's always so extremely endearing, those moments that I'm capturing, even in real time when I'm just standing there and I'm looking at it. Makes me stop and like just really admire those moments. So the great thing about TikTok is you can just make these small little snippet moments of your behind the scenes and just post them on TikTok. I have heard so many people telling me they've got so many corporate partnerships just off the back of these behind the scenes they are capturing from their photo shoots, posting them on TikTok, posting them on Instagram Reels. Reels or reels, whatever you call in the British or American accent. I'm so sorry, I still have my Indian accent intact. So, those 30-second videos that Instagram has started introducing, which is called the Instagram Reels, is incredible to just spread the word around for what you do. And people are really ending up with some great partnerships, business partnerships off the back of it. And I'm looking forward to getting that on board for my business as well.
Cool. And you, Roberta, have you had a dive into TikTok yet?
No, not yet. That's why it was very interesting. But you know what I did? Before, then you see something on social media or you buy some courses, you never watch them, you just save them on your hard drive. And this year, actually, I watched them. So it's so good for me because some of them I bought 2-3 years ago, like some marketing things, which I never had time to look at. So this year I was just went through all my hard drives and checked what I have and rewatched and rewatched and rewatched. I need to find out about TikTok, Sujata.
TikTok, Clubhouse,
yes, well,
I'll tell you everything.
Clubhouse is just for iPhone, so
everyone's asking the same questions about that. Yeah. So for both of you ambassadors, the old saying goes, never work with children and animals, but obviously it's been quite successful for you both. How do you cope when things get a little bit full on?
Oh, it's always full on, isn't it? Oh my God, I have heard this so many times, people coming and telling me you're working with the most difficult subjects, children and animals, and I also work with elderlies. And it's literally like working with children when you're working with elderlies as well. But I have realized if you're passionate about something, and for as long as they are not your children, and at the end of the shoot they'll go back home to their parents, I think it always works out. I find it really fun. I find the excitement, the energy, the running after them and making sure you've captured the shot just that very second, otherwise you'll lose the moment, is so amazing. So I really find it incredible. And it's exhausting, but beautifully exhausting, almost like giving birth.
How about you, Roberta? Yeah. Same kind of thing?
Sorry, what was the question again, sir?
Working with children and animals, obviously they're two of the most challenging things you can do, but you obviously have to overcome it.
I love working with kids. Obviously with animals, not so much, so I don't know how Sujata does that. Recently we got a dog and I was trying to take pictures with my daughters and the dog, and it's really, really hard. So I better just take pictures of the kids. So no, it's for me, you need to have a patient. The only thing you need to have is just a patient. You could have hundreds of ideas about the poses the kid will do, but sometimes it's not working. And you need to, you just need to understand that it's okay and let it go and try another pose and then come back and do it again, maybe play a little bit. And as long as you have patience, you can easily work with kids.
Things you have to offer children that just won't do what you want them to do?
Sorry?
Do you have to offer them sweets or something, or toys?
Right. Usually, if it's my kids, I always they always know what we're gonna get. It could be a Kinder Egg or LOL doll, but if it's client kids, usually we discuss before, because I never bring sweets just in case. But I always ask the parents to prepare them and to say if they will be good, we might go for hot chocolate, or we're gonna watch a movie together. They always have ideas, and they always telling me what we're gonna do after the session.
Yeah, that's always something very wise to outsource to the parents. No problem.
Right. If I would be shooting like adults, like maternity or something, don't know about the bribes. Don't know, need to think something new. But with kids, it's very easy.
Well, that's all part of the aspects facing every photographer, isn't it? In that kind of environment. So obviously, developing a fine art look that is obviously both so kind of unique in each case. What's the most important thing? It's not, you touched on this earlier. It's definitely more vision than, isn't it?
Yeah. I personally feel there's so much stress I feel in the industry, and I continuously hear students who come and attend my workshops saying that, Sujata, all I'm here for is the editing. I'm all here for the editing that you do. But it's just not the editing. If you have not conceptualized the image from the beginning properly, you've not got it correct straight out of camera, you've not used the correct light, not the correct styling. Oh my God, I personally feel of course, once you've got the concept right, you can never go out to shoot with a plain piece of paper and say, oh, I think I've got a camera and I've got my child and I'm going to get a great image. That's not how fine art works. I always say it is calculated magic. Magic is never a coincidence. So you've got to write down what your shot's going to be. You have to have that vision in place. Styling, I mean, you've got to see Roberta's images for styling. You have to know your color wheel properly. You need to know if you're going outdoors to shoot with just a green patch of land behind you in your backdrop, then you have to make your subject wear either a green dress, which is a color on color, or a red dress, which is a complementary color. You've got to go with either complementary or similar color shades to not make your editing difficult later on. You need to know whether I'm going out to shoot with flat light or am I shooting with dynamic light. I should make sure that the sun is not facing my subject, but the sun is behind my subject for me to get that rim of light and for me to get even exposure on the face of the subject. That's where you start working stepwise towards creating a fine art image and then getting the right settings. And then editing is literally the icing on the cake. Editing is not the most important thing in fine art photography, according to me.
According to you, very wise. Is that the same for you, Roberta?
Yes, as we both do fine art sessions, a lot of students sometimes, just email me and say, what is your Skype lessons or one-to-one? Can we just come just for your editing? And I always know that that I would say yes, I can show my editing, but I always start from scratch. Sorry. I always see the way they take a picture, the composition, because you need to have that canvas in order to paint on it. Because I have a samples for my students. Exactly the same image with a dressed like in a tracksuit, let's say. I will edit exactly the same way, but it's not gonna look good. Or I have an image where the same girl dressed nicely, but the pose and eyes and everything looks like lost. I will edit that way and it's still not gonna look nice. So everything has to match, from idea, from styling, from pose, from background. Then editing comes and it changes the pictures, yes. But you need to have that. canvas so you can paint, and it's very, very important. Not just go shoot and, oh, I will edit like Roberta or like Sujata and my picture would look like fine art, but no, it's so many things goes in it. And you can easily learn. It's nothing difficult to do. You just need to have ideas. You need to write it down. You need to practice, 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 and you will achieve that in no time.
Excellent. So obviously, both being fine art photographers, where would you say your influences come from? I assume there are many influences.
I honestly, I always, every time I get this question, I become a little bit emotional because for me, photography fell into my lap at a time when I was going through clinical depression. And for me, it became my voice. It became my way of expressing myself or just trying to convert the darkness within me into something really beautiful. Something that I did not have, I tried to translate that on my images into something that exists, for me, photography or any narrative that I produce, any projects that I do, all the themes, all the subjects are entirely based on either my own personal narratives or the narratives of the people who are closest to my heart, like my child, my family members. And and of course the storybooks that I read to her. Children's storybooks are just such a beautiful place to draw inspiration from. It's the most magical, whimsical world, and it's always got enough music for you to sing along with it.
Yeah, very good. And Roberta?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, so when my first daughter was born, now we have smartphones. We can just take a picture, send to grandparents. Oh, look what she did today. Did she smile? 10 years ago, we didn't have, and in order to take a picture, you had to use a camera. And to use a camera, it's not so easy it used to be, and I was thinking, I have to learn. And, I just put all my efforts just to take a decent picture. And then it developed. And in regards to photographers, that time not so many outdoor photographers were, but I saw on online like a Sue Bryce, and I think it was about her marketing, and I just listened to it, and it just something clicked in my head, and I was thinking, I can do it. I will do it. I will put all the efforts, and I achieved what I achieved. And even now, if I feel self-doubt or something, I still listen to that Sue Bryce marketing course, and it really, really lifts me up.
Excellent. And Sujata, you mentioned earlier on that, in situations you're not the creative director, the client is coming to you sometimes with a strong vision. I mean, is that often the case? I mean, is that overwhelmingly the case, rather, that clients are coming to you with that kind of a strong idea, or some of the times are they basically just asking for your interpretation and judgment?
You know what, Niall, I have realized over these years as a photographer is that once I created a very strong, personality of my own work, clients started coming to me saying, "Hey, Sujata, I want this storytelling image of yours. I want my child to be in this storytelling image, just like the one that you have created here." And I would prepare for that for the shoot, and then they'd say, "Yeah, it looks good, the frame that you have created, but can my child look at the camera instead of looking at animal? Because I want to see photo." So eventually, over time, I realized that they think they want my telling, but they do not want it. They want to look at the camera. They want to be smiling at the camera, looking perfect, like they're straight out of Slimming World, looking like the thinnest person ever, with beautifully blow dried hair and the supple skin and the happiest couple in the world. So, they want that manifestation of a very happy married life or a very happy familial life in their images. They don't want storytelling. And that is something I realized very, very quickly. So no matter whether they say they are going to buy my storytelling kind of packages, I've actually created 2 packages as a result on my website, where one is the simple classic photo shoot where you'll be looking at the camera and having that amazing canvas to put at the back of your bed or your living room, with the whole bunch of family members smiling. And then there is the more creative storytelling kind of photography. But at the end of the day, they want to look at the camera and smile, and that's what I give to them. I don't fight back because that's money in the bank at the end of the month, right? We want that. So yeah.
Very true. Very true. Would you say something similar to that, Roberta? Obviously, with clients coming in with strong ideas.
Very strong ideas. Usually, most of my clients kind of just say, if we book a session in summer, I suggest that in summer we have lavenders, we have poppies field, we have, to be honest, I know most of the places around 200 miles around my house where I can take a session. But still, sometimes it happens that the client booked a session, for example, in November, and when we, just have a call, they said, oh, you know what, I would like that picture with a spring blossom, like a cherry blossoms, you have it in your pictures. And I said, it's November, you're not gonna have that trees, sometimes you need to explain clients that it's all real, because sometimes we think, we might change something in Photoshop, but yeah, you need to educate your clients. But most of the time now, because I'm doing that for the last 8 years, I don't have a client who comes and say, I want a picture like that, or I want a picture like that. They really trust you.
But obviously, sometimes you presumably have to manage their expectations if they're coming asking for something that's not appropriate for a season, or so on and so forth. Do you find yourself having to push back very often?
But to be honest, when I started, I was really fussy. I say, oh, if you're not gonna dress like I want, I'm not gonna take pictures, But now I think they are my client, If we don't want to dress that linen dress I would be offering, or timeless cloths, it's okay. In the end, it's the pictures we're gonna put on their wall, So if we're feeling okay in dress we like to dress, it's completely fine with me. I still gonna choose the best location. I still gonna edit my style. I still gonna use the best lighting. Maybe we're not gonna be dressed the way I want. I don't need to put on my social media, but they will be happy. And if I will dress them in like long linen dresses, and they will say, oh, Roberta, it's nice, but that dress is out fashion. It's not me, I don't see myself in that dress. So again, it's like with kids, it's easy, you can style them because they don't have that, still like a style. But if it's a family session, no, I'm always listen. I always explain, as long as colors are matching, I'm happy. But about the style of the clothes, it's okay. If they like jeans, it's fine, perfect with me.
Well, the customer is always right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we don't need to put everything on social media. Money is money, I still gonna enjoy the session. I still gonna edit my style. I still gonna take them to locations they want. It's just, if we because usually we don't know about location, but we always ask me if I can wear that or that, so it's okay with me.
Excellent. And what kind of technical setups do you use, just out of interest?
Technical as in lighting?
Yeah, cameras, lighting, and so on. What would be your general kind of setup?
I can speak for both of us. We are both natural light photographers. So we both are. Yeah. So we are both in exploring natural light when we are doing our photo shoots, whether it's indoors or outdoors. I use both Canon and Nikon. So I have Nikon D800, which is the camera that I originally started from, and I still have that. I love that camera. It gives me beautiful warm tones. And I also have Canon 5D Mark IV. I have my go-to outdoor photography lens is 135 mm f1.8 Sigma Art. And for indoors, I love using both 50 mm f1.2 and 35 mm f1.4. Excellent.
And Roberta?
Exactly the same equipment apart the Nikon. So Canon 5D Mark IV, Canon 135, and I have actually a Canon 85 1.2, which Sujata still doesn't have. So
I have Nikon.
For the style we do with Sujata, it's very, very important to have that longer millimeter lenses, because you cannot achieve exactly the same results with 35. And it's because it looks like obvious, but sometimes what I see from a student who come, he said, I'm shooting with 35, can I achieve that style? And I said, obviously, 35 millimeters lens is excellent lens, but it's not for the type of photography we do. And even you can edit like us, it's still not gonna look, the picture is not gonna look exactly the same. So it's very, very important to use that longer millimeter lenses for that style we do with Sujata.
Also full frame cameras.
Yeah.
On a full frame.
Of course. And you both touched on editing earlier on. What kind of software do you use for that? Do you use the same platforms? Do you exchange ideas or?
Yeah, we speak a lot, actually. We speak almost on a daily basis with each other, at least chat, not on the phone. But our styles are very different. I use both Lightroom and Photoshop, and I've created my own set of actions on Photoshop to just, increase the speed of my editing, because now I know exactly what are the steps that I'm going to use, because, there is a consistency in the way I shoot. So I've just created my own set of Photoshop actions so that it just simplifies.
Excellent. Same kind of thing for you, Roberta. Do you have any workflow enhancements?
Yeah, I used, actually my editing workflow is like exactly the same, I edit pictures like they are different colors, but I still edit exactly the same. So I created my workflow that I start in Lightroom and I move to Photoshop, and I use specific steps to achieve that look. And yeah, we do share sometimes with Sujata, if we don't know how to achieve something, we just, discuss and try new things, because a lot of new things coming up every day, when you update Photoshop, another new thing is coming up, and, you need sometimes to let old things go in order to get some new things, because sometimes you attach to the old things, the old editing, and you don't look at the new things, you can speed up your process. So we need to use that, all the things that Photoshop or Lightroom gives us as, to speed up our workflow. So yeah.
Excellent. And obviously you're both nPhoto ambassadors. How long has this been the case? Sujata first, please.
It's been a good year for me, and I absolutely, actually, I just love their product so much. And I continuously, every time I would run a workshop and have a discussion with my students about products, most of them told me they love nPhoto albums, and they only recently introduced their beautiful wall art. You can see one of them right behind me. I was so in love with it that it just seemed like a perfect marriage for us. And my students, I'm the most happy that I'm now an nPhoto ambassador, because yeah, it's good for them. It's an affirmation for them that we are on the same plane. Yeah.
Excellent. And what is it about it specifically that you really loved? Was it just the kind of the richness, or just the range, or anything in particular?
Range, definitely, very, very important. I love their prints. I love the way my images just completely come to life on the products that they provide. I absolutely love their one-on-one interaction with us. I mean, I remember every single time, I was very bad with technology in the beginning, and every single time I had to go online and get that album through. It just felt like such a difficult task, and then I would get in touch with their team. Their team is so hands-on. I've never felt like that. I've used other companies in the past, and it just didn't work out for me in terms of what the customer interaction was with them. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Besides the fact that their packaging is so beautiful, when you're opening it, it just feels like you're opening a birthday gift, and the product is just remarkable.
I can show some few which my client really love. So I don't know if you can see, probably. Yeah, so, I don't like to be attached to the things. I really like something to change, So it's absolutely favorite is that wooden ledge where you can change the picture. So on Monday, you could be in this mood. On Tuesday, you can be in this mood. It's just, my client absolutely love that. It's like a mounted print. You can choose with the mount, or you can choose just a board print, which is just absolutely amazing. I cannot praise them enough, and it's most of a popular product for my clients. Also albums and folio boxes.
Well, no, they both look good. I can really see from here that they both really make your photography sing. Well, it's been great talking to you, Sujata, Roberta. Thanks so much. And to everyone for watching, have a great weekend.